Alright, what's up everyone? This is NinjaDeathStrike bringing you another Wi-Fi battle against Zaen88. So let's get things started. I'm going to lead with Spike, my Ferrothorn, and he's going to lead with a Zaen88. So I know these things usually just want to set up Stealth Rock, and they usually have Taunt, so I'm going to protect. Turns out he does try to taunt me, and I expect him to go for it the next turn, so I'm going to go ahead and attack rather than trying to set up my own rocks. And as you can see, I get a good hit on him here. The next turn he gets up his Stealth Rocks, but I'm able to attack again and take down his Aerodactyl. So the only thing that did was get up rocks, and I'm up 6-5, which is fine with me. In comes Gliscor. I'm going to switch out to my Rotom because Rotom basically shuts down Gliscor completely. He goes for an Ice Fang. It does nothing. I'm going to make a really risky prediction here. I know he has a Vaporeon, so I'm going to Volt Switch, expecting him to switch in that Vaporeon, which is exactly what he does. So that was awesome for me. He brings in Vaporeon, I get a super effective hit, and I get Switch Advantage. So that was really helpful. I'm going to go right back into Spike. I know Vaporeon can't do anything to it, except maybe try to burn it with Scald, but I'm not too worried about that. I'm just going to get my rocks up as he switches out and brings in his Dusknoir. So here, I'm expecting Dusknoir to go for Will-O-Wisp, so I'm going to switch out and go into my Espeon Cheese, predicting a Will-O-Wisp, but instead he goes for Fire Punch, which really caught me off guard. I didn't expect that, and Dusknoir is Life Orbed. I definitely didn't expect that. So once again, poor Cheese proves to be useless and dies before it gets to do anything. But it does give me Switch Advantage, and I bring in Bad Horse, my Terrakion. So Terrakion comes in, I'm going to have him set up a Swords Dance, and he's going to switch out to Gliscor. I don't think that he saw I had a Balloon, so this next turn he's going to try to Earthquake me. And that's not going to work out, because the Balloon protects me from Earth attacks until I take one other attack of a different type. I missed my first Stone Edge, but I crit on the second, so that kind of evens out. And in comes Jolteon. I expected I'd be able to live a single attack from this, but turns out I was wrong. That's a Spexed Thunder off of a Jolteon, and it just wrecks Bad Horse. He goes down, but now I know that he's locked into Thunder, so I'm going to bring in Dozer, my Mamoswine, and he doesn't have anything else that is Flying type, so I go for an Earthquake knowing that I'm going to deal a ton of damage to whatever he decides to bring in. He decides to sacrifice his Vaporeon, which is fine, and then brings in his Bisharp, which also has a Balloon. So really, he could have gone to that if he wanted to. I want to pop the Balloon, so I go for an Ice Shard right off the bat, just to make sure that I get that Balloon popped, and he Swords Dances. Here, I'm predicting him to go for Sucker Punch, so I'm going to Ice Shard again, and he does. He goes for Sucker Punch, and it fails. I don't want to risk it again, though, so I try to go for an Earthquake, but instead he goes for the Sucker Punch and takes down Dozer, and I'm going to bring in the Shadow, my Gengar. So first thing I'm going to do is sub, expecting him to go for a Sucker Punch, which he does, so I get a free sub up, and I think you guys know what's going to come next. I'm going to go for Disable. And I disable a Sucker Punch. I thought that his other attack was probably Iron Head, that's standard, so I expected him to try that. And I go for a Focus Blast. Unfortunately, I miss. And he gets to sub, and then he's going to get a Swords Dance up. So at this point, I'm really worried. That's not going to be good. Gengar's going to get one hit KO'd by that. And with his sub, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to keep my sub intact. But he just keeps Swords Dancing, which really confused me at the time. I couldn't understand why he didn't use his other attack to take out my sub. But you'll see in a little bit what happened and why he couldn't do that. So eventually he switches out, goes back to his Dusknoir. I still have my sub up, so it doesn't matter that he predicted the Focus Blast, because now, even though he can Shadow Sneak and break my sub, I can just take it out with a Shadow Ball. So I take it down, and I'm going to still have a Gengar at almost full health. I don't have my sub up anymore, and that means he's going to be able to bring in Jolteon and threaten to one-hit KO me with that ridiculous Thunder. This time I predict it, however, since I know what he's going to want to do, and I go into my Ferrothorn as he goes for Thunder. Unfortunately for him, it misses, as happens with 70 accuracy moves, but you'll see it didn't really matter because this one is not even going to do a third, so I take the Thunder like it was nothing, and then Power Whip, finished off his Jolteon, and now he just has Bisharp left. So in comes Bisharp, and I'm just going to go for Power Whip again, and you'll see he goes for Brick Break. So that's why he couldn't touch Gengar earlier. He didn't have any moves to hurt it. So he goes for Brick Break. It does a fair amount, but it doesn't matter as I finish him off with a Power Whip and win the game. So thanks for the match. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully I'll have more battles for you guys soon.